I have so much to say to you about it, and I'll just share my own personal story with you. Um, at my bottom, and there have been many along the ways with regards to codependency, my own relationship history, the challenges that I've had in romantic relationships. Um, at my bottom, which for me came in the year 2000, sort of 1999, 2000, ironically, about 9 months before I met Kia, my now wife of the last 20 years. Um, in that bottom, I was so raw and I was so beaten up and I was so humiliated. I felt humiliated. And I looked out in the world, and what I saw was a world of people who somehow had whatever it took that they could be together with someone effectively, successfully, lovingly, in a way that worked. And in that moment, I conceded to myself, I guess that's just not for me in this life. I can see that these other people, I don't know what it is. I don't know what vitamins they took or what happened for them, but I can see, like when you're in a breakup, everybody who's together. And that's how it was for me. And I hit my knees, literally, literally. And I said a prayer. And the prayer was, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. I feel so stuck. And I'm tired of being in this place. I've been here before, but this is worse. This was more of a bottom, more painful than anything I had experienced, including drug addiction. And I hit my knees and I said, I know that I desire to be with somebody and to share my life. I also know that I'm not good enough yet at spending time with me. This is me. I'm not projecting this onto you. I haven't spent enough time alone. I haven't cultivated a friendship with myself. I haven't even begun to scratch the surface of who I really am inside. I can see at 35, 33 years old, I'm still running. I'm still moving. I haven't landed yet. And I just don't know what to do. And so the download that came for me was keep going. You're not in a bad place. It hurts, but it's correct. It hurts, but you're exactly where you should be. Keep going. So for me at the time, what does keep going mean? Don't despair. Speak to teachers at every chance you get and make this a priority in your life. This being the resolution of the pain and the challenge that's come up at this moment. For me, that actually meant to throw myself into therapy. And I found a new therapist. Uh, she was a woman, and she was really, it was talk therapy. And what she really had me do over time was to review my behavior, not from the past, but present time behavior. So I was freshly out of this relationship and it was crushing me. I was not over it. I was not done. I lived with it. Emotionally, it was in me. She was still, this ex was still in me and I couldn't let it go. My thoughts were very obsessive around it and my behavior very obsessive around it. And it was incredibly painful and uncomfortable for me. But I went to therapy twice a week for a while. and then eventually once a week for 2 years, 2 years, 2 full years, I think 3 years, 1999, 2000, 2001, something like that. I really never missed it. And I did what this woman told me to do, which was essentially to observe my behavior, observe my patterns, see what I'm doing, see how I'm thinking, see what emotions are coming up. This became my lesson plan. Some days were okay, some days were difficult, but I had a plan. I had been doing step work for a long time, 12-step work for a long time. That was already in me. Thank God I had no desire to use drugs or alcohol. But what I understood then, and I really consciously understood it, was for me, this is why this thing that I'm feeling now is so important. It's so important to my life. I have to do this work now. I can't get around this. This is the most important thing. This is going to set me free. And it did. My commitment to it, to the process, my willingness to be uncomfortable, my willingness to not know the answer, my willingness to step into the unknown every single day, not knowing if or when this pain was going to stop, my willingness to look at what was coming up for me, to have guidance from a counselor, this woman, but also other people, other key people in my life who could help me with other things. For example, working on yoga or meditation, working on nutrition. I had a sponsor already in the 12 steps. So I had a team of people helping me. So while I had this team of people, I still had to live my life. That means I had to wake up in the morning and do practice. That means I had to eat food. I had to rest. I had to do some kind of training, physical training, because I need that in this body. And that I would go crazy without it. And so I did the very best I could, one day at a time, to go through the work of revelation. And that's what's happening here, is you're going through the work of revelation. You're precisely, exactly on time. Everything in your life, everything that has taken place to this moment has led to this moment. It isn't wrong. You're not bad. You're not behind. There's not a glitch in the matrix because you're feeling the feelings you are in the aftermath of a relationship that was meaningful to you. This is exactly as it's supposed to be. Now, there's two processes that we're all involved in. One is waking up. That's more of a spiritual process that I'm referring to there. Waking up is like, will be revealed. Our consciousness grows. Our awareness grows. We understand more now, today, than we did even yesterday or a year ago or 5 years ago. We look back and we're like, oh, wow, I have learned and experienced so much. So that's a waking up. There's a waking up, a blossoming of your spirit, a deeper connection with yourself. There is also, and I want to point this out, there's a realization of the things that you're unwilling to tolerate. There's a realization of the things you are unwilling to tolerate in your life. Whether that's a behavior of your own or what you would expect or want in a relationship with somebody else. Whether that's romantic, friendship, or family, or anything. That realization of understanding what is no longer acceptable to you is incredibly powerful and important. You have grown. You have expanded in consciousness and awareness. There's something that you know today which you didn't used to know. And you have to recognize that about yourself because it shows forward progress, not backwards. when we're in the aftermath of a relationship, we're struggling with codependency, or we're just struggling with just the difficulty of being in an aftermath of a relationship. I never knew anyone to go through a breakup and feel like, great, wow, this is such a time of expansion. Most people are like laid out, painful. So there's that waking up process. The second process that we're going through is growing up. That's about emotional maturity. That's about understanding. That's about compassion, forgiveness even. Forgiveness of you. I forgive myself. For what? I forgive myself for being human. I forgive myself for making mistakes. I forgive myself for being imperfect in this life. I forgive myself for being the way that I am, which sometimes causes me pain. I forgive myself my mistakes. I recognize how hard I try in this world to be free, to be successful in this world, to be engaged in a purposeful and meaningful way. I forgive myself when I take actions that end up in pain rather than harmony. Forgiveness, compassion, insight into one's own experience. Emotional maturity is the ability to navigate, learn from, experience, and move through emotion. And all of that happens through work, one day at a time. Critical, important. This is the lesson of your life right now. Don't run away from it. Don't worry. It's there for a reason. You will not be dropped. You're finding a deeper love right here in your own chest, right here in the center of you, where you get to be free and you get to engage and you get to love and be loved in all relationships. Not just one type of relationship, but all relationships. This is available to you. This is available to everybody.